The wrestling world just exploded into chaos as Bron Breakker delivered one of the most shocking moments in recent memory by launching a vicious assault on Paul Heyman before dramatically walking away from everything he had built with the group known as The Vision. If you want to stay updated on all the jaw-dropping twists and turns in professional wrestling, hit that subscribe button right now because you won't want to miss what's coming next. What started as another night of business turned into absolute pandemonium when Bron Breakker stood face to face with Paul Heyman in the middle of the ring. The tension had been building for weeks, but nobody saw this coming. Heyman was in full form delivering one of his trademark speeches about loyalty and family when Breakker's expression shifted from focused intensity to pure rage. The cameras caught every second as something inside the powerhouse snapped and the careful alliance that had been constructed over months came crashing down in spectacular fashion. The attack itself was brutal and unrelenting. Breakker didn't just shove Heyman or deliver a single strike. He went after the legendary manager with everything he had. The first spear nearly broke Heyman in half as the crowd gasped in collective shock. Security tried to intervene, but Breakker tossed them aside like they were nothing. He hoisted Heyman up for a devastating powerslam that echoed throughout the arena. The sound of the impact sent chills through everyone watching. Heyman writhed on the canvas clutching his ribs as Breakker stood over him breathing heavily with fury radiating from every pore. But Breakker wasn't done. He pulled Heyman up by his suit jacket and delivered another thunderous spear that sent both men crashing through the barrier at ringside. The announce table shook as they collided with the floor. Medical staff rushed to the scene, but Breakker warned them back with a look that could melt steel. He grabbed a microphone and his words cut through the stunned silence like a knife. He told Heyman that he was done being used as a pawn in someone else's game. He was done taking orders from people who claimed to have his best interests at heart while really just using him to further their own agendas. The crowd erupted as Breakker continued his verbal assault. He said the Vision was built on lies and manipulation. Every promise made to him had been hollow. Every plan discussed behind closed doors had been about elevating everyone except him. He had carried the group on his back, winning matches and destroying opponents while being told to wait his turn for the spotlight. The frustration that had been simmering beneath the surface for months finally boiled over and there was no containing it. Breakker declared that he didn't need the Vision and he certainly didn't need Paul Heyman whispering in his ear about patience and strategy. The other members of the Vision rushed to the ring, but they were too late. Breakker had already dropped the microphone and was backing up the ramp with his eyes locked on the carnage he had created. Heyman was being attended to by multiple medical personnel as his stable stood helpless watching their enforcer walk away. The shock on their faces told the whole story. They had relied on Breakker's dominance and now they were left scrambling to understand what had just happened and what it meant for their future. Social media went into overdrive within seconds. Fans couldn't believe what they had witnessed. The hashtags started trending immediately as people debated whether Breakker had made the right choice. Some praised him for standing up for himself and refusing to be controlled. Others questioned his timing and methods. But everyone agreed on one thing: this was a defining moment that would reshape the entire landscape moving forward. The shockwaves rippled through every corner of the wrestling community. The backstage area was in total chaos following the incident. Reports emerged that several wrestlers had to be held back from confronting Breakker as he made his exit from the building. Management was scrambling to figure out how to respond to such an explosive situation. Heyman was rushed to a nearby medical facility for evaluation. Initial reports suggested he had suffered bruised ribs and possible internal injuries. The severity of the attack raised serious questions about what disciplinary actions might follow, but Breakker seemed completely unconcerned about consequences. He had made his statement in the most emphatic way possible. Looking back at the weeks leading up to this moment, there were signs that trouble was brewing. Breakker had been noticeably quieter during group segments. His body language during backstage meetings showed increasing frustration. There were instances where he seemed to hesitate before following Heyman's instructions. Small disagreements that were quickly smoothed over in the moment had been adding up. The pressure cooker was building toward an inevitable explosion, and it finally came in the most violent way imaginable. The implications of this split are enormous. The Vision had been one of the most dominant forces, with Breakker serving as their primary weapon. His raw power combined with Heyman's strategic mind had created a nearly unstoppable combination. Now that partnership is shattered beyond repair, the group will have to find a way to fill the massive void left by Breakker's departure. Their opponents will sense blood in the water. Everyone will be looking to take advantage of this sudden weakness. For Breakker, this represents a crucial turning point in his career. He has declared his independence in spectacular fashion. No longer will he operate under someone else's direction. No longer will he share his spotlight with a stable. He is blazing his own trail and demanding that the world recognize him as a singular force. The question now becomes whether he can maintain his momentum without the support system the Vision provided. Can he thrive as a lone wolf, or will he eventually realize he needed that structure more than he thought? The relationship between Breakker and Heyman had always been complex. Heyman is known for his ability to guide careers and maximize potential. He has a track record of turning talented wrestlers into legendary figures. But that relationship only works when there is mutual respect and aligned goals. Somewhere along the way those elements broke down. Whether it was Heyman trying to maintain too much control or Breakker growing impatient with the pace of his push, the partnership became unsustainable. The violent ending was the culmination of all those unresolved tensions. Fans are now eagerly anticipating what comes next. Will there be retaliation from the Vision? Will they try to make an example out of Breakker for his betrayal? Or will they focus on rebuilding and moving forward without him? And what about Breakker himself? Who will he target next? Will he go after championship gold or will he continue his war with his former allies? The possibilities are endless and the anticipation is building with each passing day. The attack on Heyman also raises questions about boundaries and consequences in professional wrestling. While storylines often feature physical confrontations, the intensity of what Breakker did felt different. It felt personal and brutal in a way that transcended normal rivalries. The line between character and reality seemed to blur as genuine emotion poured out. Whether this was entirely scripted or included some shoot elements is something fans will debate endlessly. But regardless of the backstage reality, the impact on screen was undeniable. Industry insiders have been weighing in with their perspectives. Some veterans have praised Breakker for showing fire and passion. They argue that moments like this are what create stars and define careers. Others have expressed concern about the violence directed toward a non-wrestler like Heyman. They worry about setting precedents and protecting performers who aren't trained to take bumps. The debate reflects the ongoing conversation about how far is too far in creating compelling content. The timing of this split is also significant. Major events are on the horizon and the card is suddenly wide open. Breakker could insert himself into any number of high-profile situations. His declaration of independence makes him an unpredictable variable that could disrupt carefully laid plans. Opponents who thought they knew what they were facing now have to recalibrate. The element of surprise is firmly in Breakker's corner. Looking at the bigger picture, this moment represents a classic wrestling narrative. The student surpassing the teacher. The weapon turning on its master. The rebel breaking free from control. These are stories that have played out countless times throughout wrestling history because they resonate with audiences. People understand the desire for autonomy and respect. They relate to the frustration of feeling undervalued. Breakker's actions channeled those universal emotions into a cathartic explosion of violence and defiance. The production and presentation of this segment also deserve recognition. The camera work captured every nuance of the unfolding drama. The audio picked up Breakker's heavy breathing and the impact of each move. The crowd reactions were mic'd perfectly to enhance the atmosphere. Everything came together to create a moment that felt important and real. These are the segments that get replayed over and over because they successfully blur the line between entertainment and authentic emotion. Moving forward, all eyes will be on how this story develops. Will Heyman seek revenge from his hospital bed? Will he recruit someone new to take Breakker down? Will the Vision crumble without their powerhouse, or will they find strength in unity? And most importantly, what will Breakker do with his newfound freedom? The next several weeks promise to be filled with drama and conflict as all these questions get answered. The wrestling community loves nothing more than a good controversy, and this situation delivers on every level. There are legitimate arguments to be made from multiple perspectives. There are clear heroes and villains depending on your point of view. There is uncertainty about what comes next. All of these elements combine to create the kind of buzz that keeps fans engaged and talking between shows. Breakker's physical transformation over recent months has also been notable. He came into the Vision as an impressive athlete but has since evolved into an absolute monster. His physique is intimidating. His presence is commanding. His in-ring work has become more polished while maintaining its raw intensity. All of these factors position him perfectly for a solo run at the top of the card. The attack on Heyman was his announcement that he is ready to claim that spot right now. The psychological aspect of this storyline adds another layer of depth. Heyman is famous for getting inside people's heads and manipulating situations to his advantage. For Breakker to completely reject that influence and break free through sheer force represents a powerful statement about willpower and determination. It suggests that no amount of clever strategy can contain someone who absolutely refuses to be controlled. That message resonates far beyond wrestling. Financial implications are also part of this equation. The Vision as a unit had been moved into premium positions and high-profile matches. Merchandise featuring the group had been selling well. Breakker's departure disrupts all of that established revenue, but it also creates new opportunities. A solo Breakker can be featured differently. New merchandise designs become possible. Fresh matchups can be explored. From a business perspective, the shakeup might be exactly what's needed to keep things fresh and maximize interest. The role of social media in amplifying this moment cannot be overstated. Within minutes, clips were circulating everywhere. Reaction videos started popping up. Memes were created. Debates raged across every platform. The immediate feedback loop between the show and the audience created a shared experience that transcended geographic boundaries. Fans around the world were all processing the same shocking moments simultaneously. That kind of collective engagement is incredibly valuable in modern entertainment. As this story continues to unfold, remember that professional wrestling is at its best when it creates moments that feel important, when it makes you lean forward in your seat, when it gets your heart racing and your mind spinning with possibilities. Bron Breakker attacking Paul Heyman and quitting the Vision accomplished all of that and more. It was shocking, brutal, and completely compelling. It set up numerous future storylines while also providing immediate satisfaction. These are the moments that remind us why we love this art form. The legacy of this moment will be written in the weeks and months ahead. If Breakker goes on to capture championships and establish himself as a top star, then this will be remembered as his breakthrough. If the Vision rebounds and finds new success, then it becomes a test they overcame. If the feud between these parties produces classic matches and segments, then everyone wins. The potential is limitless, and that's what makes this so exciting. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss a single development in this incredible story as it continues to unfold.